This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by Counterintuitive Thought Alert. You know how we always hear this bogus phrase, "United we stand." Well, I guess in a sense it could be considered true, even if it is bogus. But it's a half-truth. The whole truth reads like this: united we stand, divided we rise. What do I mean by that? Well, mainly I'm speaking in the context of the liberty movement. And I guess when I say it, I'm just trying to remind people that we don't want to become reliant on unity, that we want to play our differences and our decentralization to our advantage. If the freedom movement, say the freedom movement in New Hampshire specifically, were a bunch of people who were all very close, like a family, and that closeness was what they relied on to get things done, then the bad guys would simply move in and divide us in some form or fashion. If we're already divided, they can't really do that. It's just like with the Romans, weren't easily able to divide the Irish people when they tried to invade, because the Irish people were already divided of their own accord. Or the Germans weren't able to, in World War I, the Germans weren't able to divide the South Africans because the South Africans were already divided. When the Germans invaded, it united the South Africans, and the Germans lost. Same thing with the Swiss. Throughout the centuries, and especially during World War II, the Swiss shone because they didn't have any artificial unity to break up. The mutual loathing between the Schweizerdeutsch and the French Swiss and the Italian Swiss was all right out there in the open and accounted for and played to top advantage. And I'm told most people didn't even know the name of the president. There was no head to cut off and no unity available to destroy, except unity in the idea that they didn't want to be invaded. Switzerland ended up completely surrounded by Nazi and fascist countries and was barely even touched. Division is something to play to your advantage. Just like a drunk guy plays the ground to his advantage. If he lies down on it, he can't fall. Lying down is a very powerful position, actually. Many constructive and destructive things are accomplished from that position. The creation of life itself and the destruction of life. The prone position is the most effective position for both deeds. The government, of course, is the institution that uses it for the latter. I don't think the freedom movement will need to, especially not in New Hampshire. And the healthy division process is already well underway, with plenty of individual activists who can't stand each other, and a deepening delineation between activists who want to use the system and activists who want to operate outside the system. There are lines between activists who want to be polite, and activists who want to be rude, activists who want to be viral, activists who want to be respectable, activists who want to have a lot of publicity and don't really care that much whether it's good or bad, and activists who are fearful of bad PR. Earlier, of course, there were activists who wanted to move to New Hampshire and activists who wanted to move to Wyoming. Those people were at each other's throats for 2 years. In a sense, Bill Clinton had it right. Diversity is strength. However, he was not right about that being the case for America overall. I don't think diversity is strength in America as much because of the fact people use the government to impose violence upon other diverse groups. Inside the freedom movement, we don't have that option, so the diversity becomes, yes, definitely a strength. In fact, the one area where Americans are perhaps least tolerant of one another, well, I don't know if it's the area, but one area where there's problems would be in the areas of race relations, or relations between sexual subcategories. And of course, in those two areas, that's where liberty activists are completely united. I think to a man and to a woman, they are tolerant and welcoming of sexual and racial minorities. And even religious minorities too, though many religions are at odds with the non-aggression principle. Anyway, I'm drifting a little bit off topic. Basically the general concept, though. United we stand, divided we rise. Think Switzerland. Think medieval and ancient Ireland, or medieval Iceland. These places with no clear leadership, with no artificial attempts at putting everyone on the same page.
My body! My property!
You've seen the dramatic liberty arrests in Keene, New Hampshire. Now see 111 reasons why you should move there and reinforce these gutsy activists. Keene's advantages are compelling. For details, visit freekeene.com.